So it was the Clyde Mountain fire, so the cut-off of the Currawong fire. So well, at the very first community meeting, which was the last week in November, first week in December, that we had in Batemans Bay, we made it very clear then that if at any point in time the Currawong fire crossed the Kings Highway, that it had the potential to do the 94 run into Batemans Bay and surrounds all the way to Moruya. Yeah, so we were talking about that from November, December, all the way through.
The fires went through on New Year's Eve, but the threat was probably still there for another 5 or 6 days. The area to the south of us, Tranquil Bay, was alight. The helicopters were coming in and dealing with it. I was very well informed on the morning of the fire as to exactly where the fire was. I was well informed in the days before as to what it was doing up on the Clyde Mountain and how quickly it started to move. I was aware of what the weather was likely to do that day and that a southerly was predicted, and that a southerly may well save us here at Rosedale, and we were all hoping the southerly was going to come in before the fire. Of course, when the fire hits, it happens all of a sudden. Everything's okay, and when the embers start pouring down, the light goes, it's dark, and it's all new. I've never experienced it before, my sons hadn't. And you don't really know what to do. There's thousands of embers coming down and you think, wow, what do I do? I can't, there's no way I can deal with them. One of my sons was trying to put them out, and I think that just kept his mind that he was doing something positive. Because I thought, well, there's way too many. I mean, what are you going to do? So we were getting very close to jumping in our bunker when the southerly came in. The southerly was cold, the humidity was high, and the fire didn't react the same way. But to know what to expect in these situations, I had 2 of my neighbours that stayed, and one in particular kept telling me before, are you staying? And he was happy to stay, but he was up there on his own. I was lucky I had my sons with me. And it just got too much for him. And I think that's something that we're just not prepared for. That you're dealing with a neighbour that's panicking and wants to change their plan and is pushing decisions on you, and I just wasn't ready for that, and I just couldn't really think about it. I mean, I thought that I'm fairly relaxed and fairly clear in what our purpose was, but when the embers came pouring down, I started to question myself, and that was still okay, but when my neighbour starts questioning me, I found that hard to focus. Am I going to be safe in that bunker where I thought I'm going to be safe? And who could I have got to have a look at it beforehand and tell me? I mean, my assessment was that I was going to be safe in there.
I was worried. I was sort of, I'd open the gates down there so that we could have another exit point if up here was on fire and it was too late to leave or something. I had talked to people that had come about this is real and that we do expect the fire will come to Rosedale, but none of us could ever have predicted the ferocity that it hit with. We'd evacuated that morning. We had spent months preparing our house, probably really since August 2018, doing that landscaping and thinking about what we were doing. So there was not a leaf left immediately around the house. We had wet everything down. We knew we'd identified with Kelwyn our susceptible points, I guess, which is a deck out the back, timber deck, and the garden was too close to that deck, so we removed a lot of the garden and pushed that back. We moved the pots and moved them away. We took, this is all from Kelwyn, all the garden furniture was inside, the mats, the barbecue, everything was inside. We had buckets, mops inside, hoses. We put the 2 Ember Defender sprinklers on the roof. We had planned to evacuate anyway because we knew as soon as that fire crossed the highway that it was coming for us. My whole thinking was get the house ready, pack the stuff and go. What really hammered home to us was the need to have a plan in place. So we, as a group of friends and neighbours, permanent people, including with Dougal and some others, we all said, okay, if we're going to do this, we need to set a deadline. So we gave each other till Friday week to do a draft fire plan each, and then we all met up at a house in Miller Avenue. We went through our plans, we shared information, we exchanged phone numbers, we made notes, and then we went away and enhanced the plans, and we came back the following Friday, and then basically we were all happy with our plans. Then we identified neighbours to go and talk to, so there were a few elderly people here who needed a hand. So then Bill and I went and talked to two of those, someone else talked to two of those, like John and Jill, other people that live alone as well, so we sort of dispersed like that. And so when the fire actually came, there was a core group of us who already knew what we were going to do, where we were going, what we had in place. So yeah, we already knew who had sprinklers, who had this, who had tanks. But it was really valuable, especially for the older people by themselves. They felt, they felt safe and supported, and even after the fires, well after the fires, they felt like that was good. And we do know that having the association in place was hugely important and put us ahead of the game after the fire. And certainly before, because we could disseminate all that information, so the networks were already there, the communication systems were there, we've got Facebook, website, emails. So, and then afterwards we were all huge amount of trust because everyone's known each other for so long, so we all just kicked into gear.
I pulled up here and I took a couple of great deep breaths, and I didn't know, I was very sure of my rapport with Vicky, but I didn't know how people were feeling. I knocked on the door and I waited, and I saw Vicky come down, and she paused, and it felt like for a minute, but it was probably for a second, and the look on her face and the arms were outstretched before she got down the stairs, and I remember nearly just bursting into tears and having a hug, and Bill came out and just going, oh my God, I've been thinking about you, I've been wondering how everybody is and what's happened.
And from our point of view, it was thank you, because what you taught us, the information you shared, means our house was saved. That is the only reason this house was here.